Hi everyone, I'm Huub Hildenbrand. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we will talk about Dyads, two-tone structures, and more specific, how to break triads, like the traditional standard triads, into each triad into 3 different dyads, and how to play these on the guitar in an interesting way across the fretboard. So let's get right into the endless ocean of music. Alright, for each lesson there is, as always, a PDF you can download. Down in the description you find the link to my website, guitar-academia.com. There you can download it and print it out and keep it in front of you. Thank you. And so we start with our journey. So what are dyads? Dyads may be a new word for you, but like triads, it just means 2 different tones. So an interval, actually. A dyad is an interval. But we can put this interval on the fretboard in an interesting way, because dyads, just 2 tones, and we have 3 pairs of 4s here with a string. So between E and A we have a 4th, between D and G we have a perfect 4th, and between B and E we have a perfect 4th. So what we can do, for example, we take a 5th as an interval, as a dyad, and we can play this 5th, for example, from G, GD. We can play it here, and then what we do, we shift the same position, the same hand position, we shift up 2 strings and 2 frets higher. So we have the same position, G, D, G, D. And then we do the whole thing again, but of course 3 frets higher, we find the same interval, like G, D. So we play G, D, G, D, G, D. So that's we call this 1 note per string arpeggio, in this case, for dyads. So we have 1 note on every string, and because it repeats all 2 notes, and also the structure here of the guitar of the 3 pairs of strings also repeats. So we have the same fingering. And I invented a pattern which is going like this. It goes into a 4/4 bar with 16ths, like tuck-a-dimmy, tuck-a-dimmy. So that's the pattern. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so this is a perfect 5th. And what we can do, we can just see what kind of intervals do we have in our triads. So let's take a G minor, or let's take a G major triad, for example. And the G major triad, we have the first interval we have here, playable interval from G to B. So this major 3rd, from the root to the 3rd. So we can also play this interval in the same way. I think this sounds already quite interesting, quite unusual a bit to have this big range, but just 2 notes actually. But there is some, of course, in every interval, but there's always some kind of a chord, some kind of a gravitational thing implied. So this actually, if I just play G, B, G, B, G, B, it sounds as G major, because the D is kind of unnecessary to make this chord clear, at least in this context. I mean, if there are There's no context. We have just G and B. It sounds like G major. Okay, so this is also, this GB comes from our close position triads. So between G and B, there's no other chord tone possible if we are in G major. But we can skip our B and go right to the D. So we have a kind of a drop two thing. So we just skip one tone and we go to the next. So root third. Okay. If we would skip another tone, we just come to the octave. So we don't do that. We don't do that. Also, the octave is very hard to play on two adjacent strings, and also it gives us not really a new note, and also it would be also a repeat of the same note. So for us it's not useful. So we stay inside. We make only intervals we take only intervals which are smaller than an octave. So our next step, we did GB, GD. We go with on the sixth string, we go higher to the B, and we go from B, also close position first, B, D. So major third and perfect fifths of G major. So we do. Okay. Next, we skip the D. We go from B directly to G. So we have a minor sixth here. Sorry. Okay. G, G, B, G, B, G, B, G, B, G, B, G, B. Okay. Then we move again up with our E on our E string from the B to the D, and we have a perfect fourth. Then we have D, B, D, B, D, B. Quite high there, but and then, if you can go higher, we start from top again. Huh? We have the same as here. So we have always we always go from the E string with the chord tone, first close position, then open position. So we skip one chord tone, then we do the same with the next. B, G, B, D, B, G, and then with the next. D, G, D, B. So we have something like, now we start from here. Okay, let's do the same thing for F minor, starting from F C. Okay, you see, you can do all the triads. I mean, you also can have diminished triads, for example. Let's try this. So we start like B diminished, close position, B, F, B, and then open position, F, D, then B, D, BF, DF, and DB. Okay, so it's also possible possible. Or we have of course augmented. So we go from let's take G, for example, G augmented, GB, GD sharp, BD sharp, BG, D sharp G, D sharp B. Oh, it's quite hard. Okay, actually augmented just repeats the whole thing. We have just a major third and a minor sixth. I mean, like an augmented fifth, and again a major third, augmented fifth, and so on. I mean, of course, augmented fifths, minor sixths. The spelling, of course, depends what kind of augmented chord we have. Is it a G augmented, is it a B augmented, or an E flat augmented? So we have to, we can make this very specific, of course. But it's the same fingering we are using. Okay, now what happens, how does it sound if we apply it to a song, to a tune? Let's take a famous jazz chord progression and try it over the chord progression. So we in this tune we have an F minor chord going to B flat minor, going to E flat 7, going to A flat major 7. Actually, we don't care. We do not really care about major or minor sevens. We're just doing the triads here. This is a pure triad exercise. We really break down the triad, each of the 4 triads, major, minor, diminished, augmented, into 3 different dyads. And we have a close position form and an open or drop 2 form. So again we have F minor, going to B flat minor, going to E flat major, going to A flat major, going to D flat major, and then half a bar in a 4/4 measure, D diminished, G major, C major, 2 bars, C minor 1 bar, F minor 1 bar, B flat major 1 bar, E flat major 1 bar, A flat major 1 bar, A diminished half bar, D half a bar, and G major 2 bars. Then 1 bar A diminished, 1 bar D major, 2 bars G major. F sharp diminished 1 bar, B major, E major 1 bar, and then half a bar G diminished, half a bar C major, then F minor 1 bar, B flat minor 1 bar, E flat major 1 bar, A flat major 1 bar, D flat major 1 bar, D flat minor 1 bar, C minor 1 bar, B diminished 1 bar, B flat minor 1 bar, E flat major 1 bar, A flat major 1 bar, and then a 2/5 back to F minor, G diminished half a bar, C major half a bar, and going back to F minor. Okay, and we can just improvise this kind of a thing, because we have now six possibilities for every chord. We have, for example, for F minor we have F C, then we have A flat C, so 3rd, 5th. There's 2 possibilities. Then we have A flat F, and we have C F. 4 possibilities already. Then we have C A flat, and we have F A flat. Sorry. Okay, so we have six possibilities, and so we have to decide which one to take, because one pattern is already 1 bar. So per bar we have to decide which 2 notes we play. And of course it's how to connect these sounds has a lot to do with voice leading actually. For example, we can go from F minor. We can say, okay, we leave the F when we go to B flat minor, because we also have an F in B flat minor, and just bring the C to D flat. So we have the fifths and the minor third of B flat minor. Or we can, for example, we can play this F and C for F minor, and then we go to B flat, D flat. It's also possible. So our bass F is going to B flat, and the C is going half a step, half tone to D flat. So we can do this, we can do this, or we can. So we have different possibilities, and I will demonstrate this kind of practice now. These dyads, that specific pattern through the whole chord progression. And when there is a half bar only, so only 2/4 or 8/16 per chord, we shorten the whole pattern. So we, instead of playing the whole thing, like, we just go to this place. So 1, 2. For example, with this chord progression here, D diminished, G, C. So we can, for example, we can do but this is also one whole bar, so we do. Okay, you got it? Okay, so I demonstrate this this whole chord progression now with this pattern. I think this is a cool thing to practice, also for the right hand, to always go to the next string. It's also a technical thing, also to jump around here, to really find your places, your fret, your positions very quick. And it also sounds very nice, I think. So you can just pick a chord progression, also just 2 chords is possible. And play these patterns, and I think you will really enjoy the sound of these moving chords. It has a lot to do actually with like Bach's music, Johann Sebastian Bach, and I think yeah, it's very strong, very strong concept also. With, in this case, just arpeggios. Okay, if you like the lessons, please don't forget to subscribe down below, and if you want to support me, I would be really happy. You can go to my website, guitar-academia.com. There you find a link and you can donate. So if I get like financial support from you, it would be really great to progress, to go on with this whole project. And there's so much stuff actually which is waiting here to see you. So I hope this will continue quite a long time, I hope. Okay, thanks for watching. My name is Huub Hildenbrand.